Hello, everybody. This is Aerith-Zylan of Love and Above, and today I'm going to go through an annual card reading for the next year. So, before we get started, I am using the Angel Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine. I'm just going to take my glasses off as I can see glare straight at me. So we're going to so yes, I'm going to use that tarot deck. I've used it every day. I was trained on this deck and by Doreen and Radleigh, and I've done advanced training with both of them as well. And I use this deck every day. This is my go-to deck. So that'll be the first part of this. It's just doing a reading for the year, and then we're going to move on to a little bit about goal setting and a little bit about New Year's resolutions, things that are quite important at the moment. So I'm just shuffling the cards, as you can see. And January is the Queen of Water. Now, the water suit is all about your emotions. And it can mean two different types. It can mean what is deep within you, within your heart and soul that people may not see. And it's also about the emotions that people can see. Sometimes you can walk past somebody on the street and what you see is, you can see they're having a great day by the way they walk and got a big smile on their face, and they're saying hi to people. You know the type of people I mean. So this card is saying that, January, it can be quite an emotional time. It can be quite an emotional time for all of us, to be honest. Start of a new year. Maybe we're at this time of year, we're thinking about loved ones, maybe loved ones that we've lost. Maybe even, friends we've lost, and just thinking about the year ahead. And sometimes January can be quite daunting. For others, they're just raring to go. It's like, okay, start of the year, reset, let's just go for it. While others are just like, not too sure, it's just another year. So this card is saying that emotions are going to play a part of it. It's also really implying that that you're at the center of your emotions, which is right for all of us. How we react to things really is, those are our emotions, and we have full control over them, and nobody can make us feel something. It's really about how we react to things. So this card is saying that, some people might want to trigger us a little bit, but it's also saying that take a moment when you feel like you're in those situations. Take a moment, breathe in, breathe out. Just take that moment and feel your emotions. There's nothing wrong with emotions. There's nothing wrong. You can have positive emotions. You can have what's negative, what feels like negative emotions, but all emotions are okay. It's just how we deal with them. And so when you feel those emotions, feel them and just let them pass. It might take a while, but just sit with them. Sometimes they can be a little bit uncomfortable, but sit with them and move on. But this card is saying really focus on your emotions. How do you feel in the moment? It can help you feel more mindful as well. So that's January. It's all about the emotions. So next card, February, we have got Ace of Air. Lovely Pegasus there. The air suit. It's all about intelligence. Now, when we start talking about intelligence, people think, oh no, it's all about how intelligent or learned I may or may not be. And it's not that at all. All it means is that if there's a decision to make, you stop and think about it first and then make the decision. That's all it means. So it's about using your head to make the decision, thinking things out. When it comes to, the decision that you might actually want to make with your heart could be exactly the same decision that you actually make with your head. It just means you stop to think about it first. That's all it is. So From what I'm saying, you're going to be, it is about making a decision, but it's actually saying make it by yourself. It's not about asking loads of other people for their opinions and thoughts about what you need to do, or what, whatever this decision is that you're going to make. It's about relying on your own knowledge and your own wisdom. This doesn't mean that you need to be alone, okay? This means that you can call your angels forward, call your guides, your spirit team, and say, hey, I've got a decision to make. Please help me. And that's fine. So it's just saying you ultimately have this decision to make, but ask others. Now, the big thing that I'm seeing in this card is that it's going to be very empowering. It's going to empower you in a way that you probably aren't going to understand till you get there. And I think that's the same for a lot of us, and how we understand everything. But yes, it will be empowering for you, and how you can rely on yourself as well. So let's go to March. Lovely card, 9 of Fire. So the fire suit is all about your passion. It's all about what you wake up for in the morning. It does not mean your 9 to 5 job unless you love your 9 to 5 job. A lot of upper management positions in companies, they absolutely love their job, which is why they're there. People who are self-employed, they tend to be quite passionate about what they do as well. So so those are examples of people who, why they would get up and think that their job is their passion. But there are other things like, I know I've got a friend who loves to save the whales. Okay. Every Saturday I get that email that says about the whales, and their 9 to 5 job has absolutely nothing to do with that at all. People, also their families, why they get up in the mornings for their family, for their children, for life. Some people just love being in nature, communing in nature. They wake up just to go for that walk in nature and enjoy what's there. So think about what your passion is and what it could be. So this card is showing me that you, whatever your passion is, look at it in March. Totally. This is the time to really step forward. Now, whether you believe that you're an authority figure in this area or not, it doesn't matter, okay? It's about you, how you feel. And it's about stepping up and stepping forward into, I want to say, a role. It might not be a role, but it might just be a self-imposed position by yourself that says, hey, this is what I love to do. This is what I enjoy doing. This is what I am doing. And what this card is really showing, that whatever this is that you want to step into or step up to, or maybe it's just like a different section or a different path along the same variation of what you're doing, you're going to get support. That's what I see. You will be supported along the way. It could be by a friend, it could be others around you that are involved with it, whatever it is. Whoever it is, they're going to support you. So don't think that you're going to be alone. You will receive the support that you need during that time. April, we have Queen of Air. So again, the air suit is all about the intelligence, stopping, thinking about something, making the decision. So April is all about looking at, so this is interesting, looking at a different way of doing something. More along the line of being more creative, more, is there a different way to do something? So for example, in my own business here, it could be that I look at what workshops I'm delivering, and I as my own intellectual property. I have a few of them. So it could be that for me during April, this is the time for me to brainstorm, to look at what else can I offer? What else can I do as a workshop? What is supporting me at the moment? What is it that I can share with others? And for other people, it may well be that maybe it's an exercise program. Maybe it's all of a sudden you want to learn some different type of exercise. Maybe you want to get into rowing. Maybe it's, this is the nudge that it is to keep your fitness, but doing something different. So this really, April is really the month to look at whatever it is you want to look at. It doesn't need to be any specific area of life. This is just about making a decision and looking at what you want to do that's going to help you in your life. And like, you know, for me, it could well be a workshop, could be something different. I do have a few things to tell you in later on when we get to goal setting. So we're looking at May now, and I have the Ace of Earth. Now, the Earth suit has two different meanings. It can mean, first of all, a time of study, or it can just mean everyday life. When we talk about everyday life, we talk about everyday life. Getting up in the morning, having breakfast, going to work, going to school, place of learning. It could be exercise. It could be going to the jazz class you go to on a Tuesday night. It could be going to the library, paying the bills, that sort of thing. When I talk about everyday life, it means anything in your everyday life. That's what this card is about. So that, or a time of study. So what I can see here is it does look like a time of learning. So it may not be formal study. It just can be a time of learning. Now, when I say that, it could be that you might decide that you want to learn a different language for going away on holiday, or just a different language because you want to learn a different language, where there might not be any formal exams, but it's a time of learning. It could also mean that if you enjoy a particular type of sport, maybe you think, hey, I want to go a different direction, or I might actually want to be a coach, for example, and that would be a time of learning. So it doesn't need to be anything specific. Where you're looking at getting a qualification, it's just a time of learning. Could even mean personal development. It could mean that you master a particular move. Now, for example, I'll give a real life example. A couple of months ago, I started going to a Zumba class, and I absolutely love it. But I do set myself little challenges because I'm not at the physical stage yet where I can do all the exercises. I have to sometimes do the easier version, which is fine, but I can see where I where I am learning. So that there was a point where I could not do the full amount of jumping jacks that we did in all the different routines, and I couldn't do that throughout the entire class. At some point, I had to do the easier version. There was a point where I could not jump on or off the actual step as well. We use a step sometimes, and I couldn't do that. And so I started with jumping off. And then once I'd figured out how to jump off, and I just started doing that just before the actual I've got some connection problems with the internet, and that's why I stopped. I've just been learning how to jump back on. That's literally been in the last I don't want to say last week, but the last week before we stopped for the Christmas. So I managed to jump up, but that's me learning. That's me learning how to get my physical body to do that. So that's what I say as a time of learning for me. So maybe in there, maybe I'm going to be learning something completely different in me with regards to what I can actually get my physical body to do. But equally, this card is saying that reflect, really reflect on that. Reflect on what you are learning and how this will enhance your life. So have a bit of a think once you get that far in May. Okay, let me go to June. Now we've got another one. We've got another Earth. It's 7 of Earth. I love this one with all the branches on it. Again, Earth suit, everyday life or time of study. I see this more about being everyday life, this card, opposed to a time of study. It's about looking at, okay, this one's actually a little bit more financial. It's about looking at what you're paying out for and if there is a better way of doing it, or equally as well, it's about outgoings and ingoings. It's not saying here that you're going to have a problem with your outgoings and ingoings, but sometimes it's good just to review what you are doing in that area. A lot of people say that, particularly if you're tuned to being spiritual, that money shouldn't be, money should not be a thought. It's a lower form of thinking, but this world that we live in uses money, and we need money to pay the bills. So have a look at your ingoings and outgoings. It can just be a review. That's really what it's saying. It's just reviewing what's there, what's coming in, what's going out. Is there a better way of doing it? You might want to look at a new job in this area, or perhaps look at a side hustle, or look at, how can you make your outgoings less, perhaps. Have a look. There's going to be loads of questions in this area once you start looking at it. So that's the card for June. July. Oh, we've got another Earth card. So this time it's 4 of Earth. This time, this is also about everyday life. This is also that this card is saying to look at what you hold close to you and what you hold dear to you. This makes more sense to me than maybe a lot of people, but if it's making complete sense to you, then just go with whatever you're thinking. For me, it's my birthday in July. So, what I hold close to me, and I always have a birthday party each year. Because it's July, I tend to have a barbecue. There's been once or twice where it has rained on the barbecue day. We still do the barbecue because I love a barbecue. And so, but during that time, I always love to invite people and just spend some time with them, people that I love and care for in my life. That's, for me, that's what this card is saying. It's just like those people that you hold dear, pull them towards you. It's not anything, there's nothing suspicious about that. It's just sometimes in life we need to remind ourselves of who we have in our lives and the role that they play. I have a friend who sent me a message this morning, and said that that next year, I hope that next year for us 2022 is going to be our year. And I thought, well, 2021 for me was really a great year for me. Long story, we'll get to it eventually, but it was a brilliant year for me last year, and I would absolutely love to next year do the same. Just this next year, I'd loved it just to be another step up from where I am right now, which I can really see happening. And I sent her a message to say, yeah, and I'm telling her what I was planning to do today and how I'm starting off my year and what I'm planning to do next week. And she genuinely, and then I genuinely thought, I actually want to spend more time with her, because she she's a person of wisdom in my life, and it was just that gentle reminder of, hey, what is there in front of me? And she's an amazing woman, and I want to spend more time with her. And I told her that. I absolutely told her that. And she said, I consider you to be a woman of wisdom as well in my life. And I'm like, wow, didn't see that coming. I sometimes feel like that, that she's someone that's got it a bit more together than I do. And so I was kind of quite taken back by that message. But we are both planning to spend more time with each other, which is great. So that's an example of what's this card saying. It's just reminding yourself who is important to you in your life, and then carrying on there. Let's look at August. We have a life event card. You always got to love a life event card. It's renewal, and it's a number 20. So let me talk to you about life event cards. They start at 0, they end at 21. It's called the Dreamer's Journey as well. In normal tarot, it's called the Fool's Journey. So if you do understand normal, during this time, whatever, there's so many different life events in life, births, marriages, moving house, just, there are so many different things that people can consider a life event. Grabbing a new job, being promoted, that sort of thing. Whatever this life event is for you in August, what the card is showing me is that this is going to renew your love and your zeal for life. So whenever that comes around, just go with it. It's going to be later on in the life event too. So if you've got a couple going on, because sometimes we can have a couple of life events going on at the same time. When you get that far, whatever you think is nearing the end of its cycle, then look at that's the life event in particular, and it's time, seeing things with a different set of eyes, just renewal. Maybe it's that this card is saying, you've done a lot of hard work here, maybe you need to renew your own energy. So taking some time out, giving yourself a retreat day, that sort of idea. So September, I've got another life event card. This time it's a 12, and it's awakening. This card really has only one meaning. It's not a bad meaning either. It's really just looking at everything from a different point of view. Look at it from whatever your viewpoint is on it. So this is another life event, number 12. So we're about halfway through this one. I'm just going to quickly just go over life events. I thought about it quickly while I was doing that card. The previous card, life events. When it comes to the best example I can give is when a child finishes school, ends school on a 21, when they start college or university, starts at a 0 again. So that's it. That's a specific time of life as well, but it doesn't need to be a specific, it doesn't need to have a time frame per se. It just can be from one situation to another situation, which is a huge life event for you. So this is halfway through this life event, and it is all about looking at something from a different viewpoint. Now, it doesn't mean that your viewpoint is wrong. It doesn't mean that your opinion is wrong. It's just saying, look at it from a different point of view. It might give you a different insight into the whole situation. It might allow you to think of something completely differently, and all of a sudden you get that aha moment, which we sometimes get just from looking at it from a different point of view, a different angle. So that's what this card is saying. When you get that far, go for it, look at it from a different viewpoint. So that is September. Let's look at October. King of Water. So we're now back to our emotions again. This card in particular is about the emotions that you hide deep down inside yourself. That's what we're looking at. So this is saying that October time, you should be thinking about, I don't know the best way to put this. I know what I mean in my head. Sometimes that it can be difficult to word what we think in our head out loud. But it's all about practicing the emotions. It's not about being reserved. It's about knowing who you are, knowing what your emotions are, knowing that you can rely on yourself, that you can trust yourself to step forward in any situation and know who you are as a person. That really is what it means. So it's more about empowering yourself to be the person that you are, that you know you are. That's what this card really is saying. Let's look at November. Oh, another life event card. And this time it's 21 and it is the world. So it's coming. So number 21 means that it's at the end of this particular life event. You're coming to the end stage. It could be that the end stage is the day after. It could mean that it's another couple of months down the line. But this is really the final stage of whatever life event that you're going through at this point. And it's showing that our viewpoint of the world is different. That's what it is. It's looking at the world from different set of eyes. It's looking at being complete, being whole within yourself, feeling that you absolutely know that life is working for you. So look at this point of what you've learned throughout this life event and knowing that it's just giving you a different perspective on life itself. So December next year, it's not next year, it's this year. We're in 2022 already. Got 10 of air. So again, air is all about intelligence, stopping thinking about something before you actually make the decision. So what I see here are a number of unicorns, and it's basically saying make a decision that's right for you. It's also saying you do not need to follow the pack. You do not need to follow what the majority decision is. It's making the decision that's right for you. That's what this card is about. So that comes to the end of the card reading section. So January is a time. So we're looking at goal setting. January really is a time for people think about resolutions. And the difference between resolutions and goal setting is that sometimes resolutions do not work because we do not put the steps in to actually make them work. It's all about setting goals. In November of 2021, knowing that my December was going to be extremely busy, I set ahead a 10-year plan. So looking at things I want to achieve in the next year, looking at things I want to achieve in 3 years' time, in 5 years' time, 7 years' time, and 10 years' time. So now I've chosen 4 different goals for each of those time zones. I made a list of about 50 originally, and I put down there how long I thought I could achieve it in for every single one. Then I chose 4 for each time period: 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And I've written that in a notebook. I've also written it in a big note. I've got 2 notebooks for it. A small one which I can carry around with me in my bag everywhere to remind me of my goals. I've also got it in a larger notebook which I've put down in more detail how I'm going to get it, what it looks like, what it smells like, what it tastes like, what good looks at. Is there a specific time, you know, I've obviously got down a time period if I want it in. I've also got it down as a, you know, what good looks like. How do I know when I've achieved it as well? And these may be the goals right now, but they can change over time as well. And then I started looking at, how does this look over the next year? How do I work on these goals over the next year? And you can do it in many different ways. But for me, I've got 4. I wanted to do a different one each month. No, try that again. I wanted to do a different one each week. So I've got 4 for year 1. Like, as I said, I've got 4 goals for year 1. And so each week I'm working towards that. So technically, sometimes there's 5 weeks in a month. I know that. I started to figure, no, I didn't start to figure that out while I was doing it, but it started making it a little bit more complicated while I was doing this. And I've looked at how do I do baby steps to be able to achieve these goals by the end of 2022. And that's what I've been doing. That's what I did throughout the whole of November. How do I do this? How am I going to do this on a weekly basis? Put it in my diary. So I've got it in my diary for this next week, what I'm going to do to be able to achieve my goals. So, you know, these goals that you want to do can be, they can be things that you want to attain, like a house or a car or something different, or they can be how you work on yourself. So I've got a number of fun ones. So I'm just looking at a few now to tell you. So I'm looking at having a conservatory on my house. So I've put that as a 3-year plan. I'd love to be able to sit in the conservatory and do this, just where I can sit and look into nature while I'm actually doing a YouTube live. I also have, in 3 years, I want to have out there a course, and not just a little one. I'm working on the background. I've been working on it for a few years, but I'm really nailing it down now that I'm going to have a large course out there that will have 25 plus modules. I've already done quite a bit of it, but I'm writing more as we go along. So the next couple of years, I'm writing a module a month just to keep on top of that. Year 5, I've got a garden. I enjoy growing things. I want to have a mini farm in my back garden. So I want to have that up and it's being fully sustainable in 5 years. So that's a 5-year plan one. Here's an interesting one. In 5 years, I have this vision that I'm going to have nailed down, a Viking warrior woman. I want to be able to be a woman who works on her own. What was the best way? I want to have the attributes of a Viking warrior woman without the battles. When I say that, without the bloodshed, the battles, everything like that. This is something I want to attain, and I'm in this transition period of getting there at the moment. So I moved to over there. 7-year one. Two different ones here. I am writing. I'm quite musical. I've been playing piano since I was 3 years old, and I create a whole load of music, and I want to create a symphony by the 7-year mark. I did a music course last year for the first time in a little while, and I absolutely loved it. And so this has kicked me off with, I really, really want to write a symphony. So I'm going to create quite a big symphony by the 7-year mark, and also create my own medal business. This is I've been doing a lot of walking last year, and I've received medals, but instead I'm looking at 12 challenges you can do throughout a year, so on a monthly basis, and looking at doing it that way. Things that are going on in the background. By year 10, I have a book of shadows. Now, for those people who don't know, it's just like a spiritual book of my own teachings, my own thoughts, that have come to me through divine inspiration from the angels and others as well. And also, I've been looking at writing a mini book series, so that should be ready by year 10 as well. So those are some of mine. I'd love to hear some of yours as well, and keep each other on track too. So that's it for the year. I'm planning to start up weekly card readings again. So I will be on here again on Monday, and I will see you all then. And as a good friend would say, peace and love. And for me, to you, keep rocking your awesomeness. Thanks, everyone. Bye.